What is going on, guys? It is Brett. It is time for another Pop Culture Crisis movie review that is not a movie review. It is thankfully the final review, episode 8 of The Acolyte. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Yes, we are through The Acolyte. I'm proud of us.
I stuttered on the intro. I don't even care. Let's get through this.
Okay.
Let's get through this. The episode is also titled The Acolyte, which was funny because when we started it last night, I didn't get to it till after 11 p.m. last night. And when I clicked on the episode, it just said episode 8.
Yeah, they don't have a title for it, I guess. It's self-titled.
Disney Plus.
So I guess we start with Osha and Camille still being together. And Osha gets a vision of May intending to kill Sol.
Yes.
So her and Camille go together to find her, but for different reasons.
Let's just tag along.
They just decide to tag along. Camille seems incredibly unconcerned with the fact that Sol is on the way to go tell the Jedi Council about his crimes.
Yep.
I don't know.
Sorry, Darth Gimp Mask, if you ever watch pro wrestling, once Kane took the mask off the first time, it's not the same when you put it back on. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know what the point of the mask is. If you
actually
wound him in another place.
It actually seems to serve him powers, but like at least for audience effect, it doesn't have any. Like,
there's no face reveal, so it's like, what's the point? But yeah. Then we cut to May with Sol, and she mutinies to get onto another ship.
By messing with Pip in a way that was so obvious, it's hard to believe that a Jedi couldn't spot it.
Yeah. And then she has this line where she says, "See you in hell, Jedi." And I just know they were all like, "Yes, Queen," when they wrote that. So then she crash lands. This is another crash landing where everyone miraculously...
Back on Brendock.
Miraculously, they survive. They're not injured. They just crash landed on Brendock again.
Back where it all began.
Yes. And then we cut to Venestra talking to a senator.
No. It's Venestra and Mog first. And remember, the only show that could possibly be worse than all of this would be if they made a Venestra and Mog show. And yes, she goes and talks to the senator, and he gives the speech where he says the Jedi. Wait, I wrote it down.
This is the whole diatribe about the Jedi being evil.
It's a massive system of unchecked power masquerading as a religion.
And what else was the quote?
A delusional cult that claims to be able to control the uncontrollable.
Yes. So that was the diatribe about the Jedi being evil that we were all waiting for. I didn't see how this show was portraying the Jedi as evil until it all
not the Force.
Came to a head in this episode.
Yeah. She says, also Venestra says, like, we don't control the Force. He goes, not the Force, your emotions. There we are. Back to talking about emotions again. What does he say? He says, you project an image of goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then there is a weird cameo of Darth Plagueis in this episode, which totally caught me off guard.
That's where he got the idea to create life from the Force.
It's a cheap trick, right, for an Easter egg, but I was like, why is Darth Plagueis here, but he's also just like over here in the cuck chair, like watching them from afar.
I was watching him from afar.
He looks like Voldemort. I know they have a reference point for what his species looks like, but he just looked like Voldemort.
Yeah.
And I was not sure if this even matched up with the right time frame in Star Wars where he would even have been born at this point, but I'm just going to assume that it's correct.
Said he'd be 15 at this time.
Okay, so that's him at 15. Yeah. So anyway, they get to the boss fights. So there's the boss fight between Camille and Sol, and the boss fight between Osha and May. So they have the slow-mo falls and the slow-mo jumps, and it's very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And then May and Osha stop fighting once May tells Osha the truth about what happened on Brendock when they were children. And then she suddenly, teams up with her evil twin, and they go together to confront Sol over what happened.
She tricks him into revealing the information.
Yes. So Osha force chokes Sol to death.
There is no emotional catharsis in this show at all. The bad guys just win, and the good guys who used to be good are rewarded for being bad.
Yes.
It's awful.
It sort of turned into some therapy speak when Osha and May resolved their problems. I wrote down a quote from Osha where she says, "I failed. I could never learn to calm my negative emotions, so I never became a Jedi. You got what you wanted."
There is no emotional catharsis because there is no consistent, simplified storytelling. Everything is muddled. Everything is confused. There is no reason to feel emotional attachment to anyone. When Osha is talking to, she has no emotion on her face at all.
This is the episode where Amanda Stenberg is able to show the maximum amount of emotion on her face, but it's still not much and it's not convincing. I think because these people are not capable of coming up with a new story, they just used the trilogy as a template for this, where Osha is Anakin. She's having her Anakin moment. And Camille is Palpatine in this situation. So she, I guess, turns to the dark side once she has killed Sol. And then she picks up her lightsaber, and for some reason it's a sentient lightsaber that changes color when an evil person picks it up.
If you watch the show, when it's revealed to Osha that what Sol did, that he lied, she has zero emotion on her face.
Yeah.
But they insisted on pulling close-ups of her. The point should have been there. If you can't grab the emotional... if you're not going to be able to get the evocative, emotional shot of the actress, then focus on Sol. He can at least deliver his lines well.
I don't understand why this is some kind of big reveal that Osha and May's differences were all a big misunderstanding.
Because they were lied to.
When, in the first flashback episode, we saw that May told Osha she would rather kill her than let her leave Brendok. Mm-hmm. So her starting the fire wasn't some big misunderstanding. She did it fully intending to kill her sister, and yet she is apologizing for it later on and acting like, she was tricked too, and they're both victims. Mm-hmm. So
not
they should
to mention,
team up.
They're ignoring the fact that this group of people who have unexplained powers suddenly started shape-shifting and acting like it was unreasonable to attack at that point.
Right. They're trying to portray Sol as a war criminal, basically. But I'm still not buying it. And I guess by the tone of the music they were using by the time Osha and Camille team up, they were trying to make us sympathize with Camille and the twins, or at least with the twins and not Camille. And I still failed to see how Sol was the bad guy in all of this. Yeah. Because he was under the impression that Anasea was about to kill May.
When they had their moment reuniting at the end, after Sol is dead, again, I didn't even give spoiler alerts because I don't give a crap about this crap. When they have their emotional moment at the end, you can't feel anything. She just killed the closest thing she had to a father. Mm-hmm. Okay? She just accepted that she's the bad guy now. Her lightsaber changed colors. Why am I supposed to emotionally connect with you on this?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
So Venestra arrives on Brendok with this Jedi search party. Essentially, the most surgical and precise mind wipe was enacted by Camille on May.
Here's the other thing.
Has been mind wiped from all of her memories after 8 years old. And also, somehow he mind wiped her of the memory that she has a sister. It's asking too much of the audience to believe that this is possible, but...
Also, May has a random change of heart and wants him to pay for his crimes. It's a weird turn, in Batman Begins, where Ra's al Ghul tries to get Bruce Wayne to kill the farmer, and he goes, "This man should be tried in a court of law."
She suddenly believes in the rule of law after she's been on a killing spree this whole time.
You killed 4 people!
Yeah.
Again, these so I'm supposed to now emotionally connect to May, who's murdered a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to connect to Osha, who just murdered the closest thing she had to a father by literally looking him in the eye and choking him to death. And then they get together at the end and hug, and the music tells me I'm supposed to care about you? Fuck that. Yeah. You can't make me do that.
And If I had to guess what Leslie Headland would say when asked all of these questions, how this makes any sense from the audience's perspective, she would probably have some explanation that like all of the characters are morally gray and it's so complex and that's what makes it interesting.
People don't watch.
But that just completely defies essentially what the entire prequel and trilogy told us in the story. There are no bad guys and there are no good guys in this series.
Also, let's face it, it's not about them being morally gray. It's about really, really complex story writing that fails. It's attempting. It's
incredibly convoluted.
It's attempting to be complex, and it just falls into convoluted, and nobody knows what to think about anything. When May and Osha are like having their moment at the end, and May volunteers to have her memory wiped, it's supposed to be this big moment where she's giving away, you know, her potential to live for her sister. But you murdered a bunch of people, and now your sister murdered someone. Why do I care about you?
But it's bizarre that May would think being mind wiped would protect Osha, because as long as Kamir is alive, he still knows the real story.
And he's going to train Osha now, who says, I'll find you when I'm done. So
yeah,
I'm going to find you when the bad guy gets done training me to do bad guy things.
Yeah. So the soaring like plot twist here is that Vernestra is actually evil, and she goes to the Jedi Council and tells them an entire new false narrative where she frames Sol for all of the murders that Kamir committed, including of Jeki and Yord. And then she claims that Sol committed suicide. So it seems like Vernestra is trying to protect Kamir for some reason, I guess because Kamir was her apprentice at one point.
Yeah.
But the reason why is really not clear. There's just no point in asking questions about the plot anymore, because there's never a clear answer as to why any of this makes sense.
And
then they just, Osha and Kamir just, you know, hold hands and stare off into the sunset happily ever after.
It was made for Reylos, weirdos who thought that Rey and Kylo Ren should end up together.
Yeah.
Look,
this is Reylo fanfic. This is literally, it comes off like a Star Wars fan fiction.
Good guys and bad guys were always part of the original trilogy, right? You can do complex and layered storytelling. You can do shades of gray and a lot of things. It doesn't work here. And even if it did, it would have to be done at the behest of writers who could tell a more coherent story.
No one's motivations are clear, and that's really the problem. It's written like a soap opera in how convoluted it all is, and the complex webs of loyalties that are there. But at least in soap operas, every character has clear motivations for what they're doing. This is just a big puke. Like, look, this is just vomit.
You shouldn't give the lady who just turned evil and choked a dude to death the holding hands staring off into the sunset ending, even if it's supposed to be shades of gray. You shouldn't, okay? There needed to be some type of clear, concise, emotional through line to this that did not exist. I was so mad when this is done, I just went and watched Angels in the Outfield on Disney Plus. It's better use of my time. Here's
the thing. They're trying to compel the audience to feel a tinge of sympathy for every character.
Yes.
Like all at once. Yeah. But then you just end the episode not knowing how to feel about any of it, and you're not compelled to watch any further. It's like hilarious that they're planning to make another season of this.
And that's the thing, like when they do limited series, you should be telling a complete story start to finish and not baiting for season 2 if you don't even know if you're going to get one. It's one thing for network television to do that, to bait you for the next season. They're always fighting for the next season. And also, if Vernestra is evil, the actress needs to stop looking like she's on Xanax the whole time.
Yeah, that was
again. This is the #1 flaw for both her and Osha and May, right? Is that the performances, they're not muted, they're just kind of bad, and they don't have any actual emotional pull.
Yeah.
When they're trying to show Osha feel betrayed by Sol when he does his reveal for what happens, there's none of that on her face.
No, there's no grief. I mean, even when Vernestra comes across Sol's body and, you know, leans down next to his body. There's no emotion on her face either. Also, because she's a Nepo hire as well.
I'm going to take this to mean that what May really believes in is castle doctrine, and if that people just break into your house, you can just, you know, May is a Second Amendment advocate's best friend.
But at the same time, you know, they show Sol in his boss fight with Khmer having plenty of opportunity to kill Khmer, but they rely on this stupid plot hole that apparently Jedi have a rule where they can't kill the unarmed. So if he destroyed Khmer's lightsaber, he's not allowed to kill him.
So what you're saying is like somebody's about to hit the death blow and you purposely break your own lightsaber. Ha! Can't do it.
Exactly. It's the stupidest thing that I've never seen in any other Star Wars. Like, there's no rule that Jedi can't kill the unarmed. There's no Batman rule for Jedi. But anyway, I just feel like we are kind of back at square one because we started this series with May as Khmer's mentee / companion, and now they've swapped places, and Osha is in that position with Khmer, and there's no resolution to anything. And for some reason, May, having the brain of an 8-year-old, doesn't have like an immediate mental breakdown when she wakes up from her mind wipe.
I mean, look, that's a lot can be
whatever.
A lot
there's
can
just
be
there
away with
is
stuff like
too
that.
much that they're asking the audience to sweep under the rug for the sake of suspending disbelief.
The idea of like a long-held secret costing you everything is really, really good when it's done right? Like Sol's story of withholding this information from Osha because he cares about her, but also because, you know, he doesn't want to reveal something that it's like, even when he talks about it, there's a sense of shame in what he's saying, even though he's saying I didn't do anything wrong. There is the possibility of a good story in the idea that when someone holds a secret, doesn't tell someone when they clearly should, that it could cost you everything. It can be done very well. It was not done well in this story.
No.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.